Once upon a time, in a quiet corner of Cedar Valley, there lived an old lady who kept a small garden behind her weathered cottage. Her name was Martha, and every morning before sunrise she would step outside with a wooden bucket and water each a plant, one by one, whispering gentle words to the tomatoes, the beans, and the tiny herbs that grew in crooked rows. The people in town knew her well. Though she never made a fuss or drew attention to herself, she simply tended her garden, day after day, season after season, with the same steady care. One summer, a young man arrived in Cedar Valley with bright eyes and big dreams. His name was Danny, and he had come from the city with a truckload of expensive seeds, fertilizers, and machines. He rented the empty lot next to Martha's cottage and announced to everyone that he would grow the finest vegetables anyone had ever seen. He worked like a storm, plowing the earth with loud machines, scattering seeds in perfect lines, and spraying chemicals that shimmered in the sun. Within weeks, his garden exploded with color: tall stalks of corn, thick vines of squash, and bright red peppers that made the whole town gasp. People walked by and pointed, saying Danny was a genius, a natural, a man who could make anything grow. Martha watched quietly from her small garden, still watering her plants by hand, still whispering her soft words. Danny laughed when he saw her. "Why do you work so slow?" he asked. "Look at my garden. I did in 1 month what takes you a whole year." Martha smiled gently. "Maybe so," she said, "but let's see what the seasons bring." Summer turned to autumn, and Danny's garden began to change. The plants, fed so quickly and forced to grow so fast, started to wilt. The soil, overworked and stripped of its life, turned hard and gray. The vegetables that had looked so perfect began to rot from the inside. By winter, Danny's field was empty. The earth cracked and barren, and he packed up his truck and left Cedar Valley without a word. But Martha's garden, small and humble, continued to thrive. Her tomatoes were sweet, her beans were tender, and her herbs filled the air with a scent that made people stop and breathe deeply. All through the cold months, she mulched and rested the soil, preparing it gently for the spring. Year after year, her garden gave, not because she was flashy or fast, but because she was faithful. The people of Cedar Valley began to understand something they had forgotten. They saw that the most beautiful harvests don't come from rushing or showing off. They come from showing up, day after day, with quiet hands and a patient heart. So we can learn from this story that steady, daily effort will always outlast flashy talent. That true strength is not in the noise we make, but in the consistency we keep, and that the greatest growth happens not when we chase applause, but when we faithfully tend the small things no one else sees. Did you enjoy the story? Tell us what you think in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to our channel to become part of our family. You won't want to miss what's coming next.